Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How is everyone doing? This is the Ball Knowers podcast. I am Zach. With me, I got Justin and Jacob to the Aller. We also call him Joller. Here to discuss the Week 9 recap of the National Football League. Kind of a few good games thrown in there this weekend or today on Sunday, whenever you're listening. A couple kind of shitty ones, depending on how you want to look at it. But I do want to get into it right away, if that's okay with you guys. Yes? No? Don't like football?
See.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, kind of run through the first morning games, kind of talk about them. Kind of go blow through the scores for you in case anyone missed them. Some quick highlights, and then we'll kind of discuss it. So, I'll go ahead and run through the 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time if you're on the West Coast, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you're on the East Coast for you. So, let's go ahead and get into it. And cue the background music, go. The Ezekiel lists Dallas Cowboys journeyed into ATL looking to bounce back after that abysmal loss on Sunday Night Football against the Niners last week. Kirk Cousins and company ended up being a little bit too much for damn boys to handle. Dallas was actually up 3-0 after a Brandon Aubrey field goal and then relinquished the lead for the rest of the game. Dak went down, CD went down. Not sure if those were injuries or just their pride. ATL stays atop the NFC South, winning 27-21. Just as Justin predicted, this AFC East matchup between the Finns and the Bills was indeed close. Tua and Josh Allen combined for 5 touchdowns and 560 yards in the air. This game also had 6 lead changes, but a franchise-leading 61-yard walk-off field goal by Tyler Bass ends up being the difference, and the Bills win 30-27. Top 3 quarterback in the league, Joe Burrow, looking to get his first win at home this season as the Bengals, the Bengals welcomed the Las Vegas Raiders, who are just down horrendously. Burrow had his second, yes, that is correct, his second 5-touchdown game this season. Minshew was replaced by Desmond Ridder. Shout out Cincinnati, University of Cincinnati. Recently signed Desmond Ridder, albeit. Bengals take a absolute must-win game, 41-24, pretty easily. Staying in Ohio, we'll move to Cleveland. What we didn't want to happen ended up happening. Our boy Jameis Winston ended up pulling a quick Andy Dalton 2.0 on us against the Chargers. Herbert and J.K. Dobbins both had 2 touchdowns apiece. Quentin Johnston, who's known for dropping the ball last season, his rookie year, had 118 yards in the air, and the Chargers leave Ohio with a 27-10 win. And the Chargers are now a sneaky second in the AFC West. Another AFC matchup between 2 bad teams. Patriots visited the Titans in a not-so-important game. Mason Rudolph, still starting over Will Levis. He looked decent again, like he's had the last few years, or last few games, Tony, Justin crying in the club. Pollard goes off for 128 yards, probably missing that in Dallas for sure, as the Titans take it 20-17 overtime. Fun stat, Drake May was 0 for 2 with 1 interception in overtime, so not what you want. Again, Justin with his great predictions that he's been on a roll. This one was a close NFC East matchup, as he said. Washington and the Giants. Our boy Jaden Daniels went to East Rutherford. And as we talked about and bagged on him so hard, Danny Dimes gets his first touchdown in home in, I think, 19 and a half years, something like that. He must have heard our last week's episode, wanting to get that touchdown. However, it was no match for Scary Terry, Jaden Daniels, and the Commanders, as Washington ends up with the dub. They're now 7-2 for the first time since 1996. Another division matchup in the NFC South. This one was a surprise to all of us as we were picking NOLA to roll. The Saints outgained the Panthers by 150 yards. They ran for over 150 yards, and they also won the turnover battle. Any team in the last 20 years that did that has gone 275-0. I'll give you guys $1 million if you tell me who got that loss. It was the Saints. Those teams are now 270. Those teams are now 275-1 as Derek Carr gets the L in his return to the Panthers, 23-22. And closing out the morning games was our Bo Nix led Denver Broncos going into Baltimore. This one was sad for me. I really had this one pinned on them. They were a 9.5 underdog favorites. Baltimore ends up covering and running away with it 41-10. Bo Nix does look decent, goes for over 200 yards. He has a touchdown, or excuse me, an interception within the first few pass attempts. It was a bobble that popped up into the defense's hands, so not his fault. But again, stats don't show that. I'm just letting all of our listeners know that it wasn't really his fault. But Lamar Jackson goes off again for over 275, 3 touchdowns. Henry on the ground, as Jala likes to say, Derrick Henry is, just like Thanos, inevitable. With 23 carries, over 100 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He hits 100 rushing touchdowns for his career. And Zay Flowers, a sneaky 5 catches, 125, and 2 tutties as well, as the Broncos take it at home 41-10. And that rounds out our morning slate, gentlemen. Cowboys won, just as you expected.
Yeah, exactly what we expected. I mean, Dak and CD getting hurt wasn't expected, but it seems on par with the way the season is going for something like that to happen.
See Dak saying we fucking suck on the sideline on national TV.
That was funny.
He is correct. It's about time that somebody else realizes it besides me. Yeah, they fucking suck. They're going to lose their next 3 at minimum. They're going to be 3-8, and then we can stop talking about them.
Nice. Hey man, as we get down the season, we get to more teams, and we talk about more of the teams that matter. Unfortunately or fortunately, depending on where your team lands on that side, that's how the game rolls. No one gives a shit about the Saints. Don't give a shit about the Panthers. Like, no one gives a shit about the Raiders. Sorry, that's how it works, man. But quick question, just we don't talk too much. I mean, Kirk Cousins took care of business. Still, it's their division to lose 100%. Which after this week and Saints losing, and obviously we'll see how Tampa Bay plays out tomorrow, but probably a L anyways. Is the Dak and CD injury actual injuries, or is that more pride? I don't know. I just didn't check Cowboys Twitter.
His hand looked like a balloon.
Oh, CDs or Dak?
If you saw Dak on the sideline when they were attending to his hand looked like a balloon. It was all blown up, swollen. So I believe it's actual injuries, but doesn't really mean they were going to lose anyways.
No.
See, Mike McCarthy come out and say running back by committee was not our preference, but we're rolling with it. Kind of like a subtle shot at Jerry for the first time ever.
Tough scene, dude.
Yeah.
Down bad.
Trouble in paradise.
Trouble at America's team, huh?
It's good, though. This is all good.
Is that good?
Stating the obvious.
Yeah, and all this needs to happen. They need to fucking suck. Like, really bad. And then maybe
Mike probably knows he's fired, and is like, I don't need to kiss the ring any longer than I have to.
Well, he's on the sideline slamming his tablet after he calls a jet sweep to CeeDee Lamb on 4th and 1 at midfield when you're down 3-7. Like, it's like the first or second quarter when you can just run the ball right up the middle or sneak it or anything else. But no, jet sweep to CeeDee Lamb on 4th and 1. Like,
that sounds like that's a Matt LaFleur playbook right there.
Yeah. Not good.
Tough.
No, definitely tough, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, hopefully, they take your wishes and just get some L's, and Jerry Jones can figure it out in the off season is the goal. But moving on, this one, I know, Justin, you had this one pinned better than I did. The AFC East matchup, Dolphins going into Buffalo, walk off definitely was needed. Six lead changes is pretty crazy. Both quarterbacks look good too. I think this was like a really tough game, and probably what we would have expected had Tua not get hurt ever. But because, like you mentioned, Joel and I were kind of like, it doesn't matter. He's hurt. Like, we just weren't thinking about what kind of a quarterback he was. But, I mean, this turned out to be a really good game. It was really exciting, really fun. I feel bad. My thoughts are just real quick. It just sucks that Tua did honestly get hurt, because this would have been a fun division. But dude, Buffalo's up big time. They could lose the next 4 and still be in first place. And that's obviously not going to happen. And it sucks, because that's what you want to do, is have, fun divisions. Yeah. And I think that hopefully, knock on wood, they stay healthy next year. And we'll see whatever the Jets figure out. But, if this was a fun division matchup, and it would have been a fun game to watch this at week 16 or week 17 for like the division or something close. But it just sucks, the circumstance. But the game was still fun.
Yeah. No, the division's wrapped up, but I think Miami can play spoiler for a few of the different teams left on their schedule. I think that's like all they're going to be able to do, though. Just kind of like with what Tua's injury left them with. They play the Packers, they play the Jets, they play Houston, Jets twice actually. They play San Francisco, so they can have an effect on playoff seeding. But I think for them, that's about all they have left.
Yeah, definitely sucks.
Yeah, I think we said it was gonna be a close game, and it was, which was good. But yeah, I think it's weird. I think the Bills could be like, I wonder if they're gonna be resting starters like week 15. You know, just like coasting, but they won't.
We thought about that last episode, because Justin made a comment too, and I agree.
As long as the Chiefs keep winning, they can't.
They won't. Not if I pick against them.
Eventually,
you also have Baltimore there too.
True. Yeah, it's true.
At least one the second seed. So yeah, they got to keep pace. So those top 3 seeds will be fun. But yeah, definitely a good win for Buffalo. Didn't cover. I think I did bet them to cover. If we were betting on my pick'em league, I think I did bet them to cover. Obviously they didn't, but I know we all picked Buffalo to win, which they did, but barely. Obviously took all 60 minutes, as they say. Next one, kind of real quick. Definitely a must win. Cincinnati, Joe Burrow, man, he's probably having his best season of his career. I think his young career so far. He's had 2 5-touchdown games. I mean, he's top 3 passer rating. Top 5 passing yards, top 5 passer rating, top 5 QB rating. He's not turning the ball over a lot too. I think it's just defense is giving up a lot. They gave up 41 to Baltimore. They gave up 35 plus to Washington. Those are 2 big L's that they took. The first game against New England, that's a week 1 loss, so kind of be like that. So, but they take care of business obviously at home and get their first win at home against the Raiders. What do you guys think? Obviously, a must win and should have been.
Yeah, they had to have this one. Next week is going to be super fun, though. They play at Baltimore.
Thursday Night Football.
On Thursday night this week. Yeah. That is a massive game, because that could send Baltimore down to 6-4, and the Bengals would be 5-5. Only 1 game back, and they split the 2 games this season. So Cincinnati's not out. They're not out. Not even for the division.
Which is crazy after starting, 0-3?
0-3.
They started 0-3, 1-4.
Yeah, no, I mean, we could kind of talk about it too, or we keep bringing up every week, which I think it's a good, obviously, conversation to bring up, is that 6 and 7 seed, right, for that AFC. The Broncos, the Jets, the Chargers, and Cincinnati's right there. And when you see Cincinnati actually play, dude, and you have their actual roster on paper, right? Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow. Like, they got some ballers. I mean, their defense is abysmal, at best. But, and, obviously the division's a little bit tough too. Pittsburgh's kind of a wild card, I think, for the division, but they are right there. Like, if you said right now, Cincinnati or the Chargers, if they played a winner-take-all for the 7th seed, who do you think would win?
Oh, Bengals for sure.
I would say Cincinnati.
It's toss-up. I really don't know. The problem is that Cincinnati has, like, we talk about people that have beat nobody. Cincinnati has really, really beaten nobody.
Yeah.
But next week they could get rid of all that, right? If they just win next week. They have Pittsburgh twice, so I think they don't have to worry about so much like as keeping pace with them, because they get to play them 2 more times before the end of the year. Yeah, I don't know. I might pick the Chargers in that right now.
Their division is, the AFC North is one of those divisions that all their division games are like put to the second half of the season, which is so weird to me. Like, all of them, which is like crazy, or majority. But Cincinnati takes care of business, obviously, as they should. I think Joller made that comment last episode, where we're at a point in the season, which I rightfully agree, that good teams need to beat up on bad teams and bad teams need to lose. Like, if you're a really good team, like this is, or especially if you're in like the middle, like Cincinnati, you can't come out and lose to Vegas. You can't come out and lose to, if they play Titans next week. Obviously, they play the Bengals or the Ravens, excuse me. But like, let's say they play the Titans on Thursday Night Football. You can't come out and just take an L real quick. Like, there's no time for that anymore. Like, good teams or better teams need to win, and the shittier teams need to lose. Like, we're at that point in time right now. There's no like, well, we'll figure out where they are now. No, we're figuring out who people are. We know who they are, and you got to make that call right now. New Orleans, bad team. Like, sorry. So, and so hopefully, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to that Thursday night game. I'm still getting to that, next week or next episode, excuse me. But staying in Ohio, as kind of mentioned, the Chargers. Joller and I both picked Cleveland. We were in Jameis Winston we trust. I was just praying for not a Andy Dalton 2.0. And what the fuck do you get? An Andy Dalton 2.0. Justin picked that one right.
Yeah, super disappointing start from Jameis. Complete opposite of last week. I think he had like 3 interceptions today. Just heartbreaker for sure. It wasn't even a close game. Just tough scene. But Jameis had a 50 QBR, 3 interceptions, 1 touchdown. So not what you're looking for, especially at home, to lose by 17. Browns are back down to earth. Could just be cursed for the remainder of Deshaun Watson's contract. God was like, you don't get fun 2 weeks in a row. I don't know, but the Browns are just back to misery. I'm assuming you start him next week. I don't know.
What are you going to do?
DTR?
I don't know.
I guess.
Yeah, maybe.
No.
They could just coin toss it from here on out. The season's already over. It's like the Browns should do everything and everything to.
I think James gives their best chance to win.
He's a big morale guy, right?
Yeah.
Big vibes guy. So you got to ride him next week.
Yeah, I thought this game was. The only reason it was up for debate was because of the Chargers going to Charger type deal. But with them having the number 1 defense in the league,
sneakily,
I just couldn't, in good conscience, pick Cleveland to win the game. I thought a lot of what had to do with last week, I said it last week, was the fact that it was a divisional game, and weird shit happens in divisional games, especially games where you're starting your
quarterback hasn't played,
backup quarterback for the first time. For some reason, they come in and ball out.
People just lose their fucking minds, dude. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's just yeah, and I thought this was kind of expected, but I wouldn't have been surprised if it totally went the other way either, just because it's the Chargers,
Yeah.
And they do Charger, as we know.
But they did not today.
They do not. And the offense looks good. Like if the offense can actually click, top defense in the league, that's great. Obviously, that means nothing if you can't fucking put the goddamn ball in the end zone. So if they can, and I saw a stat, and you could check me on it, or those fact checkers can check, but in their wins and losses this season, they are what, 4-4, 4-5.
The Chargers
are Chargers 5-3. Excuse me. In their
5-3.
Yeah. So out of the 8 games, if they rush for over like 65 or 70 yards in the game, they're 5-0. And when they rush for less than 60 yards or whatever it was, they're 0-3. So, and which is right. I mean, J.K. Dobbins, when he looks good, he's putting they're obviously that's a testament to not only J.K. Dobbins but their offensive line. And when our offensive line is doing good work, then your passing game kind of opens up. So it works. Usually, rushing game is a good kind of litmus test how your offense kind of looks, right? And if they can put their offense together, man, I mean, they don't have too many. Obviously, they got Keenan Allen, got rid of him, as Joller said. Why would you ever get rid of him? But if their offense can put it together and the defense stays, healthy, and Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Derwin James still over there, again, that 6 or 7 seed, man. It's going to come down to those last couple games, I think. That Bengals, Chargers, albeit Colts, fucking 7 seed or whatever it is. So,
yeah,
Broncos, Jets, yeah, like it's gonna be fun. But the Chargers do have that. The Chargers do have that advantage of being the number 1 defense. If we talked about last episode, 13.9 points a game that they're giving up, less than 2 touchdowns, I believe, or maybe 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So, and today they gave up 10, so it lowered. So now they're probably at like 13.6, 13.4. So, love to see it from us being from IE. We'll see. Hopefully the Chargers don't charger it up. But quick one, an AFC matchup between 2 terrible teams. Pats visit the Titans, obviously. Both these teams are pretty bad. They're not really playing for much. I think Joel and I picked the Pats because they came off that big win against the Jets last week. Justin did pick the... No, you did not. We all picked the Patriots because Mason Rudolph and the Titans are really bad. But Tony Pollard goes off over 120 yards, and they eke out the dub in overtime because Drake May throws a pick. I don't really have much. These teams don't mean anything.
Although Drake May, you could say he lost the game for them or whatever, but he was the only reason they were in it in the first place. And yeah, this game is boring. It's 2 teams that suck, whatever, but you got to see Drake May in a 2-minute situation go down the field and tie the game with no time left.
His play, when he had 12 seconds in the pocket, cool. He was moving around. That was really exciting. When he moved around, extended the play for 8 or 9 seconds or whatever to throw it to Ramondre Stevenson. If you haven't seen it, go see that last play to take him to overtime. That was a really exciting play, which was fun. Drake May's playing, even though Justin said he shouldn't. So, but
he shouldn't. But I mean, for what it's worth, he's getting experience. That's the plus side of things.
Yeah. No, I get you. So yeah, but Titans win in overtime. Contrary to our picks, but another close one. Division matchup. Obviously Washington goes into East Rutherford. As I mentioned in a little recap, Danny Dimes throws his first touchdown in 600 and whatever suck my ass days that Justin laid out for us, dude. There's a point I think at halftime or maybe when
630 something ridiculous.
When he threw his touchdown, he was 1 for 7 with 0 yards and 1 touchdown because he had back-to-back passes or something. Or he was 2 for or 3 for 7 or 3 for 8, 1 touchdown, 0 yards because he had 2 passes that went for negative yards. So his stat line was 1 touchdown, 0 yards. I was what the fuck is going on? Only the Giants and Daniel Jones could have a stat like that. But Terry McLaurin has 2 touchdowns. He had two catches, 19 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jay Daniels continues his rookie of the year, albeit top 7 MVP candidate-esque season, over 200 yards on the ground. Didn't run that much either because he didn't need to. Kind of staying healthy too. Don't want to get him hurt too bad. They do cover as well, and then Washington obviously in first place at 7-2. But what do you guys think? Like the Giants.
I don't have too much on this one.
Yeah, it kind of played out like how we thought. Like it was going to be a close game. And it turned out to be that way. But we all thought Washington would come out on top, and they did. Daniel Jones only has 6 incompletions. I don't think you really see that too often. But yeah, I mean, not too much. It was kind of chalk. We expected what happened today to happen.
Do the Commanders have the division wrapped up already, though?
No.
That is the question.
No. I think they're better than Philly. I think Philly is getting the luxury of beating up on bad teams right now.
Never mind. Philly is better than I thought.
Well, they're beating up on bad teams right now, which they should do. So talking about beating up on bad teams, how they won against Jacksonville. But we'll get to see Philly play Washington in a couple weeks, I think.
I mean, they didn't really beat up on Jacksonville. They won by 5. The Eagles today.
It was a beating up of, and then it was allowing them to come back.
We'll get to that. We'll get to
that. Yeah.
Does that feel some bad boy?
Hey man, Washington takes care of business again. Same thing on that same homage. Good teams got to be up on the bad teams when you have them, right? Same thing. But division games still got to take care of business, which they did and covered. Another division matchup, that NFC South matchup, which none of us pegged this one. Saints going down to Carolina. Saints were favored 7.5 in Carolina and lost after not turning the ball over.
Just retire, bro.
Dude.
You should be arrested for getting Chris Olave murdered.
I saw your text. Well, I saw your Twitter post about it, and I didn't see it. There was other messages, and then I kept seeing something later on about the Chris Olave hit. I looked it up, and I was just like, it wasn't even in the stratosphere, that throw, and it was just a recipe for. I thought I saw a man murdered on national TV. It was so bad.
What are those called?
Hospital ball.
It's called a hospital ball. One of the worst hospital balls I've ever seen.
It looks like a rookie quarterback is scared to throw it into double coverage. Derek Carr's been in the league for 14 years, dude, and he's throwing passes like that. It's just it's so bad, dude.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for Chris Olave. It's his 5th. I saw something today. It's his 5th concussion.
He's been in the league for 2.5 years.
Yeah, it's bad.
Nuts, dude.
It's bad. He's on Tua watch quietly.
We did, and I think we saw the.
He just doesn't do the hand thing. That's why you don't hear about it so much.
Dude, he was out in the video. No, his brother tweeted or whatever that somebody said is it time to have that? Is it worth it? Conversation, and it was his brother that said it's not worth it. And Nola, that's for sure.
Yes, it was Chris Olave's brother.
Which I mean,
I think we'd all be saying that too. It was our brother that got thrown that ball.
It's true.
But does Dennis Allen make it to Thanksgiving? I mean, you lose 7 games in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, what are you waiting for?
I don't know. What good is firing him now going to do?
Yeah, it's not. What do you mean?
What's Robert Saleh going to do?
You went 2-0 and you lost 7 in a row. What exactly? What are you waiting for?
Nothing. I didn't think Robert Saleh should have been fired.
I don't think so, but I think Dennis Allen should be.
You want to get back into that?
No, we're not getting back into that. Nope. I think Dennis Allen should be fired.
No, he should be fired already. It's amazing that he hasn't. Just it's insane.
So then why should Stefanski still have his job? They're both 2-7.
Stefanski's handcuffed by the owner for the worst contract of all time. I think that's a little bit different.
Was it what am I trying to say? Whose decision was it to bring in Derek Carr?
By the owner?
I don't know.
Exactly. So they're in the same situation.
Because no, it's not the same situation. One guy's not worth $240 million guaranteed.
What does it matter? You're stuck with the quarterback you get chosen to...
Also, bringing in Derek Carr was absolutely the correct move at the time. It was so the correct move. He's just asked now, and you move on. Well, you're not even you move on. Dennis Allen should be fired. I don't know what bringing Derek Carr in has to do with the fact that Dennis Allen should or should not be fired. He's lost 7 games in a row. The Panthers, with the worst roster in the league, have not lost 7 games in a row. If you're going to use the
handcuffed argument with the QB, I'm pretty sure it wasn't Dennis Allen's decision to bring Derek Carr in.
You could start Spencer Rattler if you want to at this point. The season's already over. It
probably wasn't his decision to draft Spencer fucking Rattler either.
Doesn't matter. You lost 7 games in a row. It's too little, too late.
I'm just saying, if you're going to fire Dennis Allen, fire Stefanski too. They're in the same boat.
I'm on the Stefanski should have been fired 5 weeks ago.
He's got a better roster.
Stefanski's getting fired no matter what. We already said that week 2.
Then that's why I think. Then that's why Allen should be fired. He has a better roster and he can't do anything with it. You have Olave and Kamara and Carr and Taysom Hill. And
did you see
together fucking 3 wins?
Chiefs are trying to trade for Marshawn Lattimore?
But
I did not see that. No.
Yeah, I saw something today that said Chiefs have put in a call for Marshawn Lattimore. Extra fucked if that happens.
Yeah.
Damn. You know where he went to college by chance?
The Ohio State Peanuts.
Yes, that is correct. But yeah, so Carolina wins, upsets the Saints, which in a terrible game. Again, 2 bad NFC South teams. That doesn't matter because Kirk Cousins is going to win that division. What was the last one? Last one, man. This is the one that upset me. I kept my eye on this game a lot, and I don't blame Bo Nix for losing this game a lot because he did good. He had that 1 interception that wasn't his fault. Again, stats don't matter about those.
Caught a touchdown.
He did catch touchdown, man. Philly special. Stat sheets don't have pictures or videos, so that pick that's gonna have on a stat sheet wasn't his fault early on too. So it's not like it mattered in the game. I think personally, this game was less of Denver's bad and more of holy shit, Baltimore is really good.
Correct. I think they were just really pissed off about last week.
I agree 100%. That's exactly what I was going to say. Bo Nix looked great in the first half. Haven't really watched a ton of Broncos games. I was with my brother-in-law. He's a Broncos fan this morning, and we were watching the game. And Bo Nix looks good. I know you guys said he's getting better every week. He looks like he's really settling in, like a real starter in the league. But yeah, Baltimore just looked like they were supposed to. Derrick Henry is inevitable. He cannot be stopped. Looked right as rain. It was almost like a get-right game against a good team, which I think kind of solidifies how good Baltimore really is, even though losing last week was annoying. But yeah, I agree with what you said. It's not Denver blew it or anything. It's just Baltimore really is top 2 team in the AFC.
Top 2.
Yeah, Denver had 319 yards today. Their offense didn't play like shit or anything. It's crazy to say that though after a 31-point blowout.
Yeah.
But yeah, Baltimore is just probably really pissed off about last week, and see if they can take that anger into Thursday night.
It's going to be a great Thursday night matchup. I actually can't wait for that game now.
I'm actually excited now. It's going to be fun. Definitely better than the fucking last Thursdays with your fucking trash ass Jets. Anyway, so that does wrap up our Sunday.
And they won, man.
Sunday morning slate games. No, fucking done with the Jets. God damn it. Moving on.
I'm making Sunday you a custom neon sign, #1 Jets hater, and you can hang it on your wall.
Put it.
No,
I'll get matching ones with you if you want.
It's not like I hate the Jets. Like Justin fucking just loves them so much. It's like, oh my god, I need to talk about him. He's like fucking just fiending. Talk about the fucking Jets, man.
I'm just like.
Anyways, the afternoon games actually did have probably one of the better slates for the week 9 of the NFL. Kind of burn through them for you guys real quick. In the first game, in the game that you guys both said would not be remotely close, Jacksonville goes into Philly. Philly led 16-0 at halftime. Jacksonville made it a game with a touchdown, then a scoop and score fumble, and had the ball actually to win the game in a 2-minute drill starting on their own 49 or starting at half field even. Unfortunately, Trevor Lawrence throws a pick in the end zone, and they do lose 28-23. They did cover, though, so shout out any of those that bet Jacksonville. They had the freaking chance, man. I really wanted them to win, but Barkley goes off, as Joller predicted. He goes off for over 170 total yards, has a touchdown, has one of the craziest runs I've probably seen in a long time by doing a spin move
and then
a reverse hurdle. Anyone who hasn't seen it needs to go see it. It was one of the most insane plays. It was for a first down. I think it was probably like a 14 to 16 yard carry. But besides that, it was probably one of the best runs I've seen in the last 2 or 3, at least in most recent memory that I can think of right now, was great. So Barkley goes off as Joller predicted. Jaguars cover and had the chance to win, but a game-sealing INT in the end zone loses it for Jacksonville. Moving on to Glendale, Arizona. The Bears are bad. Talking about coaches that should be fired. I think Matt Eberflus should be gone. Wow. Bears only come up with 3 field goals in the second quarter. And I know I said this last episode, I need the Cardinals to kind of do something. I'm kind of sold. Not that they're great, but that they're above average. James Conner, on the ground over 100 yards. Kyler Murray takes care of the ball. They score, 29 points. Kyler Murray doesn't do anything, flashy or crazy, but, takes care of the ball, which is all you can ask for a quarterback. They win 29-9, and we're taking care of business on the defensive side of the ball and just doing what they could. Bears are going to bear. They had a chop block in the end zone to result in the safety in the fourth quarter, which was always fun. And Cardinals win 29.
That is a very Bears number, Bears stat.
Yeah, dude, it was funny.
I have a stat real quick on the Bears.
Yes.
In the Matt Eberflus era, since 2022, the Bears are 3-17 on the road with a point differential of -161.
Yikes!
That's insane.
Not what you want. Also, what you don't.
That bad on the road.
Okay. Just bad on the road. No, I'm listening.
Oh no! It was delayed. Your feed.
Sorry.
Yeah, but to be like that bad on the road over a 2 now, 3-year span, and still have your job is nuts. I think Matt Eberflus is for sure fired after this season. I think it's crazy that they didn't move on from him last year, especially bringing in someone new with Caleb Williams, like a fresh start, fresh quarterback, fresh scheme, and see how it goes. When you bring in someone as promising as Caleb and you're running like the same scheme that's not working, it's just a very Bears move, honestly. And Bears started off looking decent this season, and they've lost like 2 or 3 in a row now. Just not, back to reality for Chicago.
No, for sure. Staying in that same division, obviously the first place Detroit Lions head to Lambeau in the battle of first place. As Joller predicted in our last episode, if Jordan Love doesn't turn the ball over, the Packers have a chance to win. What happens? He turns the ball over. The Packers did not win. Lions took care of business defensively, offensively, special teams, you name it. I mean, Packers had that last minute touchdown with 2-point conversion. Game honestly wasn't really close after Jordan Love threw a absolutely beyond terrible pick six right before the half, especially when you're giving the ball back to the opposite team. After halftime, you need to take care of the ball. You're better off running around in circles and laying down on the floor at your 1 yard line than doing that. Lions come away with the win in Lambeau, 24-14, to stay atop of both the NFC and the the NFC North? Yes, the NFC North. And then finally, sticking with the NFC West division matchup, Rams going to Seattle in a game that we all picked. The Rams. I watched this game actually pretty, kind of intensely. I watched a lot of it. Geno threw 2 red zone interceptions, one of them in the end zone that was returned 106 yards for a touchdown. Rams did, I feel like they had control of this game, pretty well on the defensive side of the ball. They were down actually early on, 13-3, but they kind of crawled back into it. Then we're up 20-20, then 26-20. Obviously, to walk it off, it was closer than what we would have picked, or what we, obviously what we predicted. Jackson Smith and Jigba has 2 touchdowns. Geno Smith still going off with over 350 yards to lead the National Football League in yards passing. But it's, 3 interceptions obviously doesn't help, and they drop it 26-20 in overtime. I will say Puka Nacua gets ejected for landing a punch or whatever when Stafford threw an interception. And so that, I think, hurt him because he only had 1 catch for 11 yards when he got ejected. So I think that was a big reason of why the game was closer, because he's their number 1 or number 2, depending on how you like Cooper Kupp and Nacua. But regardless, even with Nacua out, they get it done, and they should. They're a better team when everyone's healthy, I think. And Rams win. But back to that fucking Jacksonville Philly game, man. It was bad. Jacksonville was looking to just take an absolute shit, and they crawled. I won't even say crawled back in. They jumped back in so fast. Did you see it at all, or did you watch any of it?
Not at the time. No, I was watching the highlights. So yeah, Jacksonville was making they ran, not crawled, back to a potential victory, but fell short. But definitely a revenge game for Dougie P. Would have been sick if they pulled it off. Would have been sick. But yeah, didn't happen. But
had the chance, man. They were down 16-0 at halftime.
It was exciting for a minute. Yeah,
they're down 16-0 at halftime.
22-0.
Yeah, I was going to say, and then they scored again. It was 22-0. And then you always talk about why they go for 2. Nick Sirianni went for 2 3 times and failed every time. He is the dumbest coach ever. The dumbest coach I've ever seen.
He's when you're playing Madden in middle school, and you're not allowed to punt on 4th down. You have to go for it, and you're playing with your buddies, and you go for it every time. That's Nick Sirianni, but with multi-million-dollar athletes with real consequences.
I saw somebody on
he
Twitter
just makes decisions that.
I saw somebody on Twitter that said something like that. They said the raw talent on the Eagles roster won this game. Barkley, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts won this game. Sirianni, he said, whatever this guy was on Twitter, I find it, let me know. He said Sirianni, for whatever reason, every possession needs to prove something to everyone else or try to make a point, and he fails at it. That his raw talent won this game because they could have lost. And if you would have let them come in a 22-0 game where you went for 3 times, you're up 22-0 for no fucking reason, and you lose a game, no, you were and yelling at your fans obviously 2 weeks ago too, like all bad. His raw talent on that roster won.
It would have been amazing, though. It would have been amazing if they lost today because of that.
I know. I wanted it so bad. I wanted it so bad just so I can come up in here with my Jacksonville jersey and be like,
would have been sick.
But they didn't, because Trevor Lawrence is going to be his Clemson piece of shit ass and throw an interception in the end zone. As he normally does. Because what's new?
Dan, tell us how you really feel.
I hate Clemson. So yeah, that one was fun though. The Cardinals Bears one, the Cardinals sold me a little bit. I know Justin, you kind of been, you had that quote wherever you're like, oh, they weren't on the kind of on the train, and you kind of lost when they got shit on by Green Bay, but then they kind of are selling you back. What do you think after seeing them handle the Bears defensively? For sure, offensively they just put enough to win. Which is all you need.
Yeah. I think that I'm going to have an impossible time choosing next week's game between them and the Jets. I'm like fanboying for both of them super hard. But I think the Cardinals are actually, I think they're good, man. I think they're definitely like a playoff team.
Justin, next week is the Rob Lowe meme of the NFL hat. And the standing is like, I just want both teams to have a good time.
Yeah. I'll take it. I
just hope they have fun.
Just want everyone to have fun. Dude. I mean, they're in first place. I mean,
they could definitely make the playoffs, though.
It's their first time being over 500 since 2021.
I believe that. Yeah,
I believe that.
2020 was the year they went like what?
I think that the division's considered weak. The division is considered weak, but I think we all expect San Francisco to come back and
I don't
win a lot of games.
If and when they get healthy, yeah. Talent's too good. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I think San Francisco's winning the division.
Not LA.
I don't know, man. Like today was I don't know. Maybe.
It was Puka for 2.5 quarters because he got ejected, and that's your number 2 wide receiver. That's gonna take a hindrance.
Yeah, they have won 3 in a row. I don't know. Maybe it'll be tight between them because they already beat the Niners once. So did the Cardinals, for that matter.
Yeah. So you pick the Niners to win, and they've lost to both other teams in that division.
Yeah, but McCaffrey's coming back by the time they play both of them, I think.
He's going to slip walking.
Doubt it.
Off the bus.
Probably. Really? I don't care what you said to me.
I don't know, man. I just have a hard time believing that the Niners are not going to win like 11 games at least.
And goes...
Which would mean another 7 wins.
Damn.
They could be Tampa Bay, Seattle, Chicago. Let's say they split with the Rams. They beat Miami. I think they could win another 7 games.
All right, we'll see. But speaking of divisions, Joller's NFC North, man. Joller called it 110%. Justin, I know you kind of quoted saying like you can't bet against the hot hand, which offensively, defensively, special teams, Detroit's all putting it all together for sure. Run game looked great. Amon-Ra St. Brown had a freaking toe tap dime on like 4th and goal, which was nails by Dan Campbell in like the second quarter. Like, they're scary, man. They could do it for sure.
Jared Goff again over 80% completion for the third straight game.
Oh yeah,
only has to throw for 145 yards.
Watch his MVP odds not move up tomorrow.
They won't, because he threw for 145 yards and 1 touchdown, and that doesn't do anything for whoever is making
Patrick
the
Mahomes
list.
throws for 200 yards, 2 picks, and he goes up.
Probably.
Yeah, they meet right him the hardest.
Jared Goff, just real quick, Jaller, before you go.
Was
I was going off of Justin's stat. Jared Goff, during Lions' 6-game winning streak, 82.8% completion percentage and 140 passer rating is the highest in a 6-game span all time. And that same 6-game winning streak, the Lions have more touchdowns than incompletions. 28 touchdowns, 24 incompletions. That is
it's
insane. It's fucking nuts, dude.
It's insane. Yeah, I've been waiting a while to talk about this game. First of all, Lions are better. Lions are a better team. There's no excuses. This game was incredibly frustrating to watch because it started out with the same problems that I've been talking about for weeks, and nothing changes. The Packers come out and are a flag fest every single week, and nothing changes. Jordan Love has now thrown an interception on his first or second drive, I think his last 3 or 4 starts. It's like repeating the same exact game, regardless of who you're playing. It's insanity that the same things are happening week in and week out. It's like it's crazy. So I kind of feel the same way I felt last week. This team could be good. They make a lot of mistakes. Jordan Love is officially a turnover machine. It's like officially a problem. He can't stop. That Will Levis-based type interception was inexcusable. I said at the Rams game, after that bad pick 6 to avoid the safety, if he ever pulls some shit like that again, the floodgates are opening. Well, he did it 4 weeks later, and now the floodgates are opening. This is a dreadful interception, and it can never happen under any circumstance. And yeah, I'm not out on him, but his decision-making deserves to be in question. He has, 11 interceptions now, and he's missed 2 games. Like, I mean, is he going to surpass Jameis's 30 touchdown or 30 interception season, I mean, he cannot not turn the ball over, and against good teams, it's going to catch up to you. If he didn't turn that ball over, game could have been way different. Also, on like the first or second drive, sorry, I'm like sick. Or it wasn't the first, second drive. First quarter, 4th and goal, and the Packers defense has an encroachment penalty. Insanity. How do you have encroachment on 4th and goal? And then 1st and goal, Lions score right away, right? It's like stupid shit like that. That's how you lose games. I said you couldn't spot the Lions any points, and they basically did. And after that interception and a half, I knew it was over, when they went up, because the Lions are too good. Yeah, the game was never close. It never felt close, and got away from them early. They couldn't do anything offensively in the second half. I could say the weather, but that's not an excuse because it didn't affect the Lions. Packers had like 2 drops in the first 2 drives. Just like stupid mistakes, didn't capitalize. Lions are scary good. Hats off to them. Yeah, they keep rolling on, kind of same old, same old. That's pretty much all I got. I think the Packers have the bye, right? This week, they have a bye now, so they can kind of get right. Jordan Love can get healthy fully. But They got to come back swinging because the Lions aren't going anywhere.
Yeah, the reason I was, like I said on last week's pod, the reason I was so confident in this game was after I saw that Detroit leads the league in defensive interceptions, and Jordan Love obviously leads the league in offensive throwing of the interceptions. So I felt like that was a recipe for a disaster for Green Bay, and it turned out to be that today.
That was a gift interception, though. I mean, the Panthers would have picked that off. You know, that was just an awful throw. But I agree. I know what you're saying.
I mean, they I don't know. Detroit's for some reason picking the ball off all the time, and Jordan Love is for some reason throwing the ball to the defense all the time. And I don't know. I got to thinking about this today though, and like Detroit looks so good, right? They look like superhuman almost. Are they peaking too early?
I thought I said that last week. Like, are they peaking too early? Because they're, like you said, they're flying, right? They're not really stumbling. They're not really letting teams back in the game. You know, they're not like Minnesota where they were getting up early and then letting teams back in. And now Minnesota looks totally beatable, you know, after tonight. Yeah, that's fair. I think the Lions, I don't want to say they could be peaking too early because I do think they're a really good team and they're really sound and they don't do anything stupid. They're not getting lucky. You know, Jared Goff is way too steady, right? He doesn't have to have the flashiest numbers. His efficiency is off the charts, right? Probably one of the most efficient seasons of all time. You know, like you said, that record, like 6 straight games, QBR or whatever. He knows he doesn't have to do anything crazy. There's like no pressure on him. I don't know. I don't think the Lions are peaking too early. I think they are that sound. I really do.
Like I say, because you see these teams that look crazy good. They lose like one game, right? All season long. And then they get in the playoffs and they just, it seems to happen a lot where they get got. You know what I mean? Like I think it happened to the Packers, right? The year after they won the Super Bowl.
2012, year after, yeah.
It happened to the Cowboys multiple years. It happened to the Cowboys in 2007. It happened to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. It happened to the Panthers in the Super Bowl when they were 15-1. It feels like it happens a lot with these teams that look unbeatable during the season. They're able to be taken care of in the playoffs. So I don't know. That's just something I was thinking about today because like we're not going to see Detroit lose, in my opinion, until at least they play Green Bay again in December. The rest of their schedule is they're playing nobody.
Yeah.
So they're
that game's
7,
in Detroit too.
Yeah, they're 7-1 right now, so they're going to be 8, 9, 10, 11-1 playing Green Bay and Detroit. They probably win that game, 12-1, and then they play Buffalo at home. Like maybe that's where they lose next. And I'm thinking like, man, they're going to be like probably 15-2, you know? It reminds me a lot about those teams that look totally unbeatable in the regular season, and then they get in the playoffs and they underestimate an opponent or something. Somebody else gets really hot, though. You know?
I agree. The Lions are this season how the NFL wishes the Chiefs were. The NFL puts these Chiefs on this pedestal that they're the greatest thing since fucking sliced bread. That's what the Lions are, and they're not giving them credit. They're fucking good. They are on all sides of the ball, and they are coasting. Joller said something great. He's just Jared Goff is efficient. He does not need to throw for 100, 200 yards, 300 yards. Fuck it. He doesn't even throw for 100 yards. Go for what? 4 for 5, 85 yards, 4 fucking touchdowns.
Yeah, last week,
he doesn't
85
need to do
yards,
shit,
3
dude.
touchdowns.
You have the best running back duo ever. Your tight end is, looking great. Your defense, as Justin already said too, is top in the league too on takeaways. Like, you don't need to do a lot. And your division's tough. and you're still taking care of business. You're being challenged. They're not the Texans who are playing mid-ass teams. They're not in the NFC West where everyone's fucking 4-4, 5-4. They're playing tough teams. They beat Minnesota, gave them their first loss. They beat Green Bay in Lambeau, handled that game. They're winning. And their only loss was to a Tampa Bay team that at that time was good.
Not to backtrack too much on today's game and make excuses, but like early in the game, Packers were driving in the red zone and dropped. It was Jaden Reed dropped a sure first down and would have put them like first and goal, right? So the game could have been a lot closer than it was. I forgot, this wasn't a Packers glazing moment. I forgot my train of thought though. You're saying they weren't. Oh fuck! I lost my train of thought. But I was gonna say I think the Lions, like, they're not peaking. But I was gonna say last year in the playoffs, like last year when the Lions had their year, Detroit was waiting for that forever, right? And Dan Campbell showed his inexperience in the playoffs with that, with the mistakes he made. And this year they just feel like a super solid, sound team. They're not trying to do too much. Dan Campbell's not making crazy, questionable, gutsy calls like Nick Sirianni, just pulling shit out of his ass and throwing shit on the wall and hoping that it sticks. It just feels different than last year. It just feels like a much more complete team, a team that like knows their identity, and like you said, they could go 15-2. But I don't really see them falling off, to be honest. I just don't.
So they're basically like a lock for the Super Bowl at this point.
I mean, I didn't say that, but I think I'm not going
to say
all I'm saying is like it reminds me a lot of, like, I think back to 2015 Carolina, and Zach puts the house on everything. I would have actually put the house on Carolina to win the Super Bowl going into that game. I remember because Mike's a big Broncos fan, right? Telling them the Broncos have no chance. It's going to be a blowout. They have zero chance of winning this game.
If only Cam jumped on that ball.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with the 11 Packers, right? They were 15-1, I think. And they lose to the Giants, right? 2012. They lose to the Giants, right? Cowboys, same thing. 13-3, best team in the league, 2007. Nobody could stop them. And then the Giants get into the playoffs at 9-7, and they beat them. It just feels like one of those things could happen. That's all I'm saying.
Well, okay, if it feels like that, then who hypothetically beats them? Like, what do you see in your head?
I don't know, but you have to think that they're going to have to play probably a division opponent at some point in the playoffs, either Minnesota or Green Bay in the playoffs. And it's really, really hard to beat a team 3 times in a season. So they have one game left against Green Bay, one game left against Minnesota. If they're going to probably be the 1 seed, Green Bay or Minnesota are going to be, 5-6, whatever. They're probably going to see them in the second round. And I'm just saying that I think it's plausible that they're rusty off a bye week. One of these teams comes in hot. They're kind of full of themselves because they're 15-2 or 16-1 or whatever, and they get got because they're going crazy right now.
I would love for that to happen. I mean, as a Packers fan, I don't see that happening personally. I don't know. I feel like Minnesota came back to earth tonight. They definitely look beatable. Could be biased. I still really do think the team could be super good. Josh Jacobs is balling. We know the offense can ball. The defense is still good. It's just if Jordan Love stops turning the fucking ball over, like if he doesn't turn the ball over, this team looks way different. So it's almost like, yeah, they're winning games, but they're sneaking by. It's like if November is like this the next 3 weeks, then it's like, okay, they're a wild card team and they'll probably lose in the playoffs, whatever. But if Jordan Love cleans it up the next few weeks and they stack some wins and they're rolling, Yeah, that last game against the Lions or whatever is going to be huge. And if they play in the playoffs, it could be a totally different story. But that's all hypothetical. But I kind of see what you're saying. I personally am giving them the benefit of the doubt. I think Detroit's for real. I think
just fun fact
they're the
for
best
you
team in the
guys
league by far.
that NFC divisional playoff game, that Giants Packers game where Green Bay was 15-1. They're actually 8-0 at home that year. Obviously, Giants win 37-20. This was January 12th, 2012. Who was the lead rusher in that game?
2011.
Who was the lead rusher in that game? Would you guess? And whoever you're thinking, it's not that.
Fuck. I don't know.
Aaron Rodgers.
It was fucking Aaron Rodgers, the lead rusher of the game, with 66 yards over Ahmad Bradshaw, Brandon Jacobs, and James Starks. Fucking nuts, dude. That's wild.
Was that the game Tom Coughlin froze his face off? Or is that 2007?
No.
That was 2007, I think.
That was when Eli had a phenomenal defense that carried them throughout the playoffs.
Yeah.
To a Super Bowl.
Yeah, 7 carries, 66 yards for A-Rod. Damn, put in that work, huh? Now he gets 7 carries for negative 13 yards.
That was a great year. That was the Randall Cobb. That was the Randall Cobb rookie year,
though, right?
Randall Cobb rookie year breaks out. Him and Jordy Nelson, dynamic duo. Probably still the best Packers offense that I can remember.
And Greg Jennings broke my leg. Greg Jennings.
Greg Jennings was on his way out, dude. Greg Jennings was on his way out. But anyways, I'm not going to get into that. It's bringing up
the Packers that year were just blowing people out like crazy. I'm looking at the scores right now, and
it was a fun year.
Eerily similar.
You're so much of the Jets right now?
Look at him holding his shit, though.
Oh, shit. Hardest safety's in the league.
Sharper.
Can that fool go to jail or something? Didn't Darren Sharper go to jail?
Yeah, Darren Sharper? Yeah, he's in prison, dude. Did he go to jail? No, man, he's in federal prison. What are you talking about?
Good lids.
Oh,
anyways,
God.
Oh, man, so this Rams-Seattle game. We all picked the Rams, and we got lucky. Puka Nacua goes out early on, so I think that was a huge reason why the Rams kind of struggled, because obviously Nacua was a huge part of them beating Minnesota last week. But they go into Seattle. Seattle was actually up pretty good, but Geno throws 2 red zone picks, 3 total picks overall. Still leading the league in yards, but I believe I said this last episode. He's leading the league in passing yards, but he's like 12th in touchdowns. Clearly still not getting it done. 2 red zone picks, not going to help your case. When Rams are fully healthy and no one's getting ejected, they can win some ball games. Rams take it and stay on par with trying to compete in that division, for sure. And they have a chance, I believe.
I think Geno's pick 6 was worse than Jordan Love's pick 6.
It was a 103-yard pick 6, and there was no one in the vicinity. He threw it right at him.
That's what I'm saying.
Visually, though, Jordan's was way worse. But consequentially, like the play, Geno's was bad.
He threw it to nobody. There's nobody there.
If that makes sense.
At least Jordan Love put it in the vicinity of Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. You sure about that? Yeah,
I didn't see him. I just saw a Lions guy there. But
Rams could get it done. Rams could be good, man. They could be sneaky good.
Rams healthy, Niners healthy. Arizona's the same. You still think Niners are going to win the division, Justin?
Is Christian McCaffrey back?
The thing is, like, the Rams' schedule is going to be easier just because they don't have the first place schedule, you know? So, like, their next few games, they have, like, Miami, New England, Philly, and New Orleans. So that's like minimum 3-1 right there, your next few games. So you're going to be 7-5 at minimum, possible 8-4.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. It's tough. What do you think?
Yeah, I like the Niners. The roster's just too good. I mean, if CFC ever comes back,
it's supposed to be like week 11, right?
After the
I
bye.
don't know. I don't keep up with it anymore.
Oh, okay. So week 10. So next week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, if he's anything like he was, the offense totally gets open, back up. The Niners are back to who they were, you know.
If the
Right.
Rams beat them again on December 12th, then yeah, I think the Rams win the division.
Oh, good call.
But
At week 16, you're going to predict the division winner? Damn. That's a deep cut.
well, because
Well, not really. I mean, the
they
division's
would
so
have beat them
close.
twice by then.
Yeah.
They're gonna be close by then. Like their records are gonna be very similar because they're both 4-4 right now. They have some easier games coming up.
The Niners
a little
end their
less
year
so
with
than the
Lions
Rams.
Cardinals. It's tough.
Yes, they end the year with Lions. Exactly. Yeah. Which is why I'm saying, like, if the Rams can win that game, then San Francisco has Miami sandwiched in between the Rams and Detroit. And I don't know, that Miami game's not a gimme. It's at Miami in December. And we all know, like, Miami in December, it's like hard to win over there. Like New England never could for some reason. Yeah, I think it'll come down to that Thursday night game, actually.
It is. I just checked. I was like, "Oh, is that?" I said it says 5:20, and I was like, "Oh, is that Thursday or Sunday night?" I just checked real quick. It's Thursday night. Hell yeah,
Thursday. Yeah,
we will see.
So yeah,
It's exciting. Speaking of a not exciting, the Sunday Night Football game was terrible. Joe Flacco did bad. Sam Darnold looked bad at the first half and then ends up finishing with over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, which was just wild. Indy goes into Minnesota, doesn't cover. Minnesota wins by 8. The Colts did the classic down by 2 possessions, 1st and 10, kick a field goal, like a 55-yard field goal. I don't. That weirds me out because like you want to lose the game right then and there. Because if you miss a field goal, it means nothing anymore. When you go for the touchdown, I don't know, but I mean it's a moot point anyways because they lost.
If you get close enough, you need the onside kick anyways. You might as well just kick the field goal. And then set yourself up for the Hail Mary after that, rather than wasting all this time.
I guess. I don't know. Colts are bad. They kept the whole broadcast was about Anthony Richardson being sat and Joe Flacco in, and then it didn't help Indianapolis's case at all that Flacco did absolutely nothing. So the whole organization and the whole decision to sit AR and everything is just it's not good in Colts country. I don't care who plays.
I mean, I think it was warranted though.
No, I agree. It just at this point, all I want is to finish 9-8 again, but I want AR to finish 9-8, look shitty doing it, and so we can move on. That's all I care about.
What was it that last drive? Was it 3rd and 10 or like 3rd down or 4th down when Joe Flacco rolled out, threw across his body, and like threw at his ankle behind him?
Yes.
For like an easy conversion. And I was like, oh man, maybe they should throw AR back in because that throw, he had time to make that throw and it wasn't that hard. And he just totally like old man arm strength whiffed it right into the ground. And I was like, you know what? AR probably makes that throw right there. Not trying to defend him, but I was like, dude, it was a standard throw, and at a pivotal moment, and Joe just didn't do it. And it was like, it was a bad look. And it was a time when they needed it most.
You know where I think you guys fucked up? Was when you named Joe Flacco the starter moving forward. Shouldn't have done that. Keep the fire under his ass.
He played great when he came in a few weeks ago. It was like an obvious. But it wasn't even like a hot take.
The starter, like moving forward. It was like, oh, AR's hurt. You have to play right now.
Season,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Well, don't backpedal, Zach. You were all on it too.
No, I'm just confirming what Justin's saying.
He should be benched. He should be benched the rest of the season. But you shouldn't have said that. You should have just said, yeah, Joe's the starter this week. We're gonna reevaluate next week or whatever.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, because like this game was winnable. A few conversions here and there, and it's like a way different game. And Joe just couldn't do it. And a lot of them were easy, or what appeared to be easy conversions. And that's why I thought, man, this game is within reach. Like, maybe they should just throw AR in, right? Like,
Nah. I disagree with that.
That's just what I'm thinking. I'm not saying I'm right. In the moment, I thought, man, you got to mix it up here, because the vibes were down. It was a close game. It just didn't feel like Flacco was going to pull it through. It just didn't. And I thought they should just change it up. But it's not college, right? They're not going to do that shit at halftime or whatever. But probably just an annoying and frustrating game.
I think that anything Joe did out there, Richardson would have done 1,000 times worse.
That's what I kept thinking too.
Possibly, yeah.
I was like, oh, he went 12 for 20, 180 yards. Ooh, Richardson went 10 for 30, 140 yards, 3 picks. Like, something fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Fun fact, Colts did not run one play in the red zone. So that's exciting. That was
Jesus.
fun. But their rush defense was the best. They allowed the least amount of rushing yards at any game this season, which was surprising. And they were in this game. It was 7-0 at halftime, I believe, and the 7 was a scoop and score. So
133 was their least amount of rushing yards allowed all season.
I believe they usually allow 210 plus, if I'm not mistaken.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Well, Dallas is what, 230 a game? They were like third worst, so they're right there.
They were locked in tonight. Prime time.
So yeah, really bad. It's bad in Colts country. I don't know what the hell they're going to do. We'll see how they practice this week. I'll figure out what the news is moving forward. I got a bunch of messages saying like, "Oh, so AR's a bust."
You just said you want to go 9-8 though, so you're just gonna ruin your draft stock.
Yeah, see, I'm different. Man. I want to be. What is there? 17 games. I want to be 5. I want to be 3-14 by the end of the year as a Cowboys fan.
I mean,
I kind of get that. The Cowboys want though. They're.
I don't know, man. Who's going to be a late round quarterback? Dylan Gabriel?
Oh, you want to draft somebody else?
We'll get there after the end of the season, but I'm just kind of thinking I'll talk about it. But anyways, we'll move on.
Dylan Gabriel's really old, though, I think.
Yeah, Colts are bad. Vikings win a game that they must win for them, especially coming off of 2 back-to-back losses against Detroit and LA. So good for them in primetime, back-to-back primetime games for Sam Darnold. And they covered, so that's cool. Tomorrow, Monday night, Tampa Bay goes into Arrowhead. Unfortunately, this was a game that we pinned, like we said. It would have been fun, more fun. You know, that college, is it Oklahoma, Texas Tech, Baker Mayfield, Patrick Mahomes, freaking 14 touchdowns between the two in college, freaking fed families 7 years ago. Definitely could have been one of those games. It's not going to be, unfortunately. We all picked KC. I still agree with that. Do you think they cover at 8.5?
I don't know. It's a lot of points. If I was going to be betting spreads, I don't think I would pick any spread in the NFL that's -9.
Yeah.
And Casey's not proven they could they've not put away games. It's not like they're like, oh my god, Casey's scary
Never
every
underestimate
game.
the power of the refs, my friend.
Ooh, facts.
That's true.
Never underestimate the refs.
That's true.
If anyone's going to cover that spread, it's the Chiefs, no matter how bad they look.
Hey, Vegas covered last week, man.
That you can bet the house on.
Vegas covered last week. I think Kansas City wins. I think they win by like 3 or 4. So
yeah,
we'll see.
They win.
But all right, yeah, definitely. Some games are kind of whatever, but excited to look forward, to next week as we get closer through the NFL season. We're actually exactly halfway through, I believe, or before the Sunday night game, we're halfway through. I think Chris Collinsworth made a comment like that. Halfway through the season, definitely we know who the bad teams are, we know who the good teams are, and we know who those middle of the pack teams are that have a few weeks to kind of figure out what they're doing. So yeah, I'm excited for what the next few weeks kind of holds to kind of, decide who's who on the NFL and kind of move on from there. So we will see everyone here in a few days to preview week 10 of the NFL and recap the Thursday night football game, which is the Bengals Chiefs, or excuse me, Bengals Ravens, right? This Thursday?
Yeah.
Where's it at?
Baltimore.
You have a pick for that, or do you want to hold off on that for right now? I don't have one.
We gotta make a pick, don't we?
Yeah, we're not going to meet till
What's
after.
The spread?
Bengals, baby.
Damn. Spread is -6.
I don't know
Baltimore.
if I believe that.
Minus what?
-6 is a lot. I feel like.
Bengals
Based on what
cover.
happened.
Ravens win.
Nah, Bengals win.
I like that. Oh,
Bengals win.
Yeah, man, they have to. Hey,
I feel like me and
classic
Zach
Justin, right?
are
Classic
simultaneously
Justin.
the reckless picks.
Classic Justin. It's a division game. Anything can happen, man.
That's a fact.
Division game.
That's a fact.
Okay, then Bengals.
Cincinnati could easily fucking win this game.
There you go. That's what I'm picking.
That's what I'm saying. I was more like, oh fuck, because now I have to think harder. Because if you pick the Ravens and you pick the Ravens, it's easy to pick the Ravens.
No, I think I was about to pick. I was going to pick Cincy straight up, but their defense is too bad. They've beat no one. Their offense
just can't get over
their defense is
who
too
they
bad,
beat.
and they're not going to stop Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is the only thing I need to think of. Can they stop Derrick Henry? Yes or no?
The Browns did,
and then there's no point in assessing. The Browns have a good defense.
Browns have better defense.
That's like the point A. It's can they stop Derrick Henry? Yes. Then proceed to this next point. No, they cannot. So the conversation's over. That's it. Derrick Henry's going to have Derrick Henry will have at minimum 100 yards, 1 touchdown next week. He'll probably have 2 tuds, 100 yards rushing. You heard it here first. Record
the
it,
question
snip
is just
it.
if Baltimore's defense can hold up, I think.
Yeah, if it's a shootout.
I'm going to pick the Ravens too, just out of a gut feeling and the fact that Cincinnati's literally they're the most team of all teams in all years that has beaten nobody.
It is a fact. I can't argue it. It's a fact.
Pick it with my heart.
Who have they beat again? They beat Carolina, New York, Cleveland, and Vegas.
But do you know where Joe Burrow went to college before LSU?
Oh my God! Wrap it up. Like, comment, subscribe. Get Zach out of here.
He went to the
Smash
State
that
University.
It's not the number one Oregon Ducks. It's not the number one.
He did not go there. No. But anyways, we'll see you all to preview week 10 of the NFL. As Joller said, smash that like button. Give us a follow on that IG, like, comment, subscribe. Add me on TikTok or whatever we're on. We're on that. Getting on those views, baby. You already know. And we'll see you guys all later.
I love you, boys.